Hello chickies and welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today we are going to binge reading Christmas books. Merry Christmas everyone. Well, technically by the time this will be going up it'll be like 2 days before Christmas, but Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, all that jazz. I've got my little penguin, Christmas penguin hat. This is green, but on camera it doesn't look green. We've got my Christmas blanket back here, some Christmas lights, fairy lights, which will probably stay there year round. Okay, so I'm really excited for this video because on my TBR for December I have Tabb's Jingle Blades. It's a Christmas book, and I discovered that it was indeed in a series, and the series is called the Peppermint Playbook series, which is a Christmas sports romance series by 6 different authors. It follows 6 different athletes in some sort of Christmassy small town, I believe. So the first book in the series is indeed Jingle Blades, and in this one we are following a female athlete, and she is a figure skater, and their male lead, I believe, is an unemployed man. So he's been laid off from his job, and he's technically partially employed by a sister at a florist shop for deliveries. I think he's a delivery guy. It's just amusing to call him the unemployed bloke. But all of these books are under 200 pages. I think this one is like 177 or something. And so all the books are, first we have Jingle Blades, then we have Serving Scrooge, then we have Check You Twice, Fumble All The Way, The Holiday Assist, and Deck the Halls. All by different authors, so this will be intriguing. As I say, they're really short books, so I thought I could just binge it. It's an easy binge. It's not like the book is 700 pages long and I have to read 7 of them. So I don't know much about the authors, and I don't know much about anything really. I just know the first book and I haven't looked at the others. So we're going to be in for a surprise. Every book I download and get, it will be a new experience for both of us because I have no clue what's upcoming. So we're going to have a jolly little Christmas spirit. I might bake some cookies, or I might, I don't know, do something else that's considered Christmassy. I don't know. It's Australia, so we don't have snow. We don't have all the, warm, comforting fireplaces or anything because, well, it's summer and it's hot some of the time. Sometimes it's cold because I live in Victoria and it doesn't know what weather it wants to be. Cold, hot, rainy, blazing sun. You never know what you're going to get from the day to day. So next we're going to start with Jingle Blades. I'll have the picture up. And yeah, sports, Christmas, romance. So this will be fun. Hopefully it's fun. Just a goofy fun time. I'm not expecting great things. I'm just expecting to have a bit of romantic door moments. Kick my feet. It is closed door, I believe, as well, at the very least. It should be just cozy and nice and Christmassy. Sometimes books don't do besties great, but then other times I love the bestie relationships. So Chloe has arrived at the resort and she won the figure skating championships. So they've invited her to take part in this charity event, and that's why all these 6 athletes are coming to the mountain/resort for charity. And it just so happens that Chloe's best friend Emma works at the resort. They've just met up and Emma is immediately like, we should go get hot chocolates and all this sort of stuff. And of course Chloe doesn't want her friend to lose her job, so she's like, look, you stay here, we have plenty of time to catch up. I'll be here for 5 days. And then it says, she gives me a look, the kind that says, you're being reasonable and I don't like it. It's typical bestie behavior. I constantly tell my best friend to just quit. Just leave your job then. Even though I know it's entirely unreasonable. Or my best friend is like, I don't want to go to work, and I say, you have to go to work. Gotta be reasonable. But it's funny when your best friend just says the opposite of what it should be. I love it so much. Anyway, so we're 3 pages in and it's going well so far. It's cute. It's cute and Christmassy so far. Winter Christmassy. Not Australian, but winter. Right, we are 28. We are 28% into the book, and I'm loving it. It's so cute. It's adorable. I found out that not only is Drew, our main lead, unemployed, although technically he is employed, he works for his parents' florist, but not only is he unemployed, he is also Chloe's best friend's brother. So they've known each other for a while. It's not an instant strangers. It's the bestie's brother. Also, they have these little pictures at the top. Again, here, have some reflection. His picture is a fishy because he likes aquariums and fish. And of course, our girls is a ice skate. But they're very adorable together, and the bestie, I think she knows what's up because she set them up. She might be setting them up for victory. But yeah, it's just sweet and cute. That's all it is. And it's going really fast, of course, because there's only 177 pages to read, and I love that. I love that for me. It is winter and cold in the book, and it is not winter and cold in reality. I recently discovered why I might like icy drinks and ice so much. It said that a symptom of low iron, it said that a symptom of that is you crave ice. And here I was thinking I was just a cold drink girly. And I just really like slushies. Because I would never pass up on a frozen Coke. But I think that's just in general. I think that's just something I like. But fruit juice slushies and frozen Coke, just love that for me. But I've always liked that, so I think the ice craving, I do crave it though. Rather than just being like, oh, that is delicious. Iced water all the time. I'm just like, I just need some ice water to survive. So if you're out there craving icy drinks and ice, get your iron checked. Also, don't drink matcha. I hate matcha, so it's not a problem for me, but it's a real issue. If you drink matcha, it's not good for the irons. The big matcha craze will lead to a lot of low iron. All the matcha girlies better keep an eye on that. Just some medical knowledge for you. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with this other than it's set in the snow. Let's continue our little goofy fun read, and I'll let you know if there's any more Christmassy vibes or cute moments. I got a gift in. It's from my mom. It's a lunch bag, but it looks nice and black and professional. And it's got a nice front pocket, some stretchy side pockets. I got her a violet crumble and some snacks. Because you can't give someone an empty bag. It's insulated inside. We're gonna wrap it up. Wrap it up, dip. Dip, dip, dip. We need to cut across there. Yay. There you go. I'd probably give myself a 2 on wrapping skills, to be honest. Not the best. Also, I could choose a little sticker to go on it. I think I'm gonna put the deer on it, and then a little tag or something there. Dad's present got a box, so it was a lot easier. I was just sitting here enjoying my lunch, which is like a butter chicken burrito-y wrap thing. We had leftover butter chicken, so I just put it in a wrap with some salad. That's pretty much all that happened. But I was just sitting here, and then, being Australia, I just saw a movement in the side of my eye, and a little spider was crawling on me, so I squished him, flicked him away. And then I was just sitting here, and I saw another little spider crawling on me, so I squished him too. And so that put in my head, if there's 2 spiders close together, maybe there's a whole family. But I stood up and I couldn't see anymore, so... Which is growth, because before, if I had seen that little spider, I would have been up and out of here, running on the imagination that would have said, there's billions of spiders on you. And I would have been, woo, out of here. And I call that growth, because I'm still out here. Is it because I just want to eat my lunch outside in the warmth? Absolutely. I don't want to pack up and go inside. That's literally the only reason. Also, my phone was dying, and because the veranda doesn't have any power points, I have my little power block. My dad loves buying power blocks and fridges, like portable fridges. And it's hilarious. He's so cute with his little discoveries. But but pretty much all the us kids have power packs now. Technically it's a jump starter battery as well. But since I do not drive anywhere currently because of health reasons, it sustains my veranda living life. So now I've got a battery and my lunch. I probably need a drink refill. So I'll probably make a few more trips throughout the afternoon. But for now, I'm just going to eat and maybe watch a Christmas vlog. I think I might watch more May's Vlogmas because it's food and I'll be eating food. And there's nothing like eating food while you watch other people eat food. I used to watch the channel when I was hungry, but was too exhausted to make myself food. So I would just be hungry watching everyone else eat. Again, personal growth. Not much is changing with my health, but a lot is changing with my habits. So that's good. Well done, me. And then after lunch, I will continue reading. We just had our first kiss. Well, we didn't. Chloe and Drew had their first kiss, and it was adorable. Still giving me classic Christmas vibes, as in snowy Christmas vibes. And it's nice, it's cozy. Nothing has been terribly wrong. I'm hoping it continues that way. And so we are at 52%. Our man is trying to do his best to spoil the girl, and the best friend and sister is doing her best to aid in it, and it's hilarious. I'm so glad they didn't do the typical, oh, he is so off limits because it's my best friend, his brother, and I hate when that happens because what the heck, we're all human. It's cute. It's cute. I love a supportive best friend. That's all I can say. Something did happen that I'm a little nervous about. Like, I'm hoping they don't make a big deal out of it, but unfortunately, we are only 52% into the book, and it can't just be happy days all the way to the end, I feel. Let's hope the struggle bus does not enter the building, but it may. It may. In which case, we might need a snow plow to clear the path for the romance. Did you like that? Did you like that? I do my best sometimes with my little quips and lines. I do try to be a little bit funny or quirky. And sometimes I fail, and that's okay. Our lives are just successes and failures mixed together in a little ball. We're with Chloe now, so we have to see what she thought of the whole situation. Hopefully she's not freaking out. New angle, maybe? Be amusing. There we go. We are 75% into the book. May I just say, Drew is a sweetheart. There's 25% to go, and I hope nothing goes wrong. They both just talk it out, and that's great. I love the communication. I love the acts of service. It's perfect. Also, the clouds are gorgeous. Look how streaky they are. Wow. It's been peppermint sweet so far. I'm intrigued to see what the next couple is. Surely the best friend needs a guy, right? One of those athletes have got to be won over by the bubbly concierge, right? Surely. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We still have 25% of this book to go. Oh, it's so lovely. So nice to have such a relaxed moment. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this refreshing view / camera angle. It says I have 37 minutes left in the book. So I guess I'll see you in 37 minutes. Maybe I should time myself, see if it really ends up 37 minutes. Did you see that pigeon? I did read it in the 30 whatever minutes it was. I'm pretty proud of myself. That was adorable and sweet, and the communication, it was the kind of last act conflict that I enjoy. I didn't end up hating any of the characters, and that's what you want out of the conflict, is to not hate either one in the end, because that happens so much in romances. I'm like, why do I hate the characters now? Both the man or the woman. It's either. Sometimes both. But this was really sweet, really nice, and I can't wait to move on to the next one. So I might have to go look up our next one so we can get into it. Have our next book here. It is Serving Scrooge by Katie Melson. It's book 2 in the Peppermint Playbook series. So we're following Maya, I think. And she is working at the ski resort. And she loves Christmas. That's lovely, isn't it? Well, she comes across a hard task in converting Eddie Evans over to the dark side, no, the Christmas jingle side, you know. Okay, so Eddie is a tennis player. I know tennis, used to play tennis, so I'll be right on top of anything they say about tennis. I'll be on it. I doubt there'll be much about tennis because he is in fact injured. That's part of why he's grumpy, is he's injured. And of course he's one of the athletes taking part in the charity event. So here we have a reflection. No, there it is. Serving Scrooge. So we're going to see if she can win him over to the dark side. This book is actually way shorter than book 1. It is only 121 pages. The whole book should take me 2 hours to read, according to the app. So I guess we'll see what goes on with Eddie and Maya, and see if the Christmas spirit and maybe some love can heal Eddie of his blues. So let's see what Katie Nelson, what she delivers to us in this cozy, closed-door sports Christmas romance. I thought I would do the final check-in for the evening. I am 29% in to Serving Scrooge. Serving Scrooge, we are. Okay, so our main lead, whatever his name is, wait a second, Eddie, sorry, what a name. Eddie, he has some past trauma, I think, surrounding Christmas, and he seems to be a little antisocial. I think it's because he's feeling overwhelmed because of trauma. But he is a bit rude. Meanwhile, Maya is just trying to do her job, which is fair enough. Holly, I think, is her best friend's name, and let's just say she's no Emma. She likes to look at the romantic side of life, but they're clients, they are customers, they are patrons, and she's just saying, well, you know, we could snag ourselves a date, you know, and it's just inappropriate for the scene. And so poor Maya is at the butt end of all of Eddie's trauma by avoidance, and it's her job to make sure he doesn't avoid certain duties. So we're in a bit of a tough spot currently, because he's not going to blab to her about his trauma yet. I'm sure we'll get there. We don't know what it is, but I have an inkling. I feel like we're at a pivotal moment at 29%. Because if this man did this to me, I would just, I don't know, I'd give him a good slap. No, I couldn't, because he's a customer. I would think in my head this bloke could do with a good slap. And since I'm outside the story, I can think that. But I am going to read a little bit before bed. I'm going to do my teeth, snuggle in, with my little Christmas blanket. You saw the Christmas penguin just there. Adorable and so fluffy. And so I'm going to snuggle in and turn off my brain with some more book. If I happen to binge it, I'll see you in the morning when I wake up, and I'll tell you how it ended. Because I can't guarantee that won't happen. But I might be good. I might read my Bible and then not pick up the book. Who knows? But Bible, teeth, book is my plan. Well, teeth, Bible, book. TBB. Good morning. So, I didn't end up reading last night. I read my Bible and then promptly fell asleep. So I did some video editing while my thing charged, and we are now 56% into Serving Scrooge. It's going by really quickly, obviously. It is just a novella, so it's super short. But I understand Eddie more now. Everything he's saying makes sense. He's dealing with trauma. It's a big thing. Does he need to talk it through or find some way of treating it? Yes, he does. So And as for Maya, she's sweet. She doesn't take his grumpiness too much to heart, which I think is good. If she finds it amusing or something she has to just get past, not get hurt over. So far, as I say, we have the second half to go, so we don't know how she's going to respond if he's grumpy after they've gotten a little closer and he's grumpy. That might be a little bit different, you see. It says there's only an hour left in the book. That's good fun. I've just eaten a chicken pie. I've got a little nectarine. I've got a drink. I've got my water. I'm here on the veranda. And it's a nice warm day. And a light breeze, which doesn't do great with the microphone. But it does make for the perfect temperature because you get the warmth, but then you get the cooler breeze, and it is perfection. It's 30 degrees, which is perfection. So good. It would probably be a bit too hot in the still sunlight. But since I'm in the shade, it's beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to continue. We're in Maya's point of view in chapter 12. They have a few little awkward moments in their relationship so far, though. I would be mortified. But fortunately, they're making their way through it. But me, if I was in that situation, you'd never see me again. Never. I may have just had a couple of tears. Just a couple. We are 77% in. So I'm about to finish it up. I don't know if something's going to go wrong in the next 29 pages. It has to go wrong and then it has to go right, if it does. But Eddie's opening up and Mayo's just a sweet being. Again, the acts of service, or just the kind acts, is perfection in this series. I mean, the speed of this relationship is a little bit different. They've been together for 4 days. And 2 of those days, Eddie was a bit standoffish. So unlike book 1, where they knew each other from, college days, there's none of that here. So it's a very fast-paced relationship. Let me just say that. Very fast-paced. The relationship has the zoomies. I have finished serving Scrooge. The last act. Complication. Went about as good as it could. Again, I wasn't annoyed with either party. It was just fun. It was cute. Again, very quick. Very quick relationship. I mean, there were Christmassy vibes, but it definitely wasn't as vibey as Jingle Blades. Jingle Blades had all the cozy feels, whereas this one, not so much. Mainly because, our main character's trauma really didn't encourage that. However, it was quick and fun and exactly what I wanted. It was very cute. However, we get to book 3 in the series, which is Checking You Twice. It's next up. Are we going straight into it? Yes. Yes, we are. However, I am a little bit skeptical about this one because the blurb isn't very hopeful. We have a hockey player called Holden. He's just a somewhat grumpy, really passionate hockey player. I assume ice hockey. My problem comes in with our female lead, Belle, because it says that she has a workaholic boyfriend. And I believe they're still together when these two meet. And they're still together when they're spending time together later as well. And I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. It says she wants to break things off. Then do so. Before you bring in any of these other romances. But I'll check it. But I might not be happy with this one. I hate even the appearance of cheating. And at the very least, it will be emotional cheating. Until she breaks it off because she realizes she is in love with this other bloke. It just sounds a bit messy for me. As I said, I'll give it a try. But this might be a very short one if it goes along that line. I'll keep you updated with this one. It is a little longer than number 2. It is 178 pages, this one. I don't know if I told you. It is Checking You Twice by Larissa Hommes, or Hommes. Hommies. I think my mum is going to be bringing home some candy canes for me, as well as some lemon jelly crystals to go on some frozen grapes. I'm going to try that method, see if I like it. So I might film that, but for now I'm just going to sit here and continue reading. Because reading is my life. Circumstances led to Holden pulling Belle under a mistletoe and kissing her, right? which is whatever. He didn't know she had a boyfriend, all that. He can kiss her under the mistletoe. The thing is, our main girl, Belle, she kissed him back. Very important detail, because she has a boyfriend. And fair enough, we've read to the 25% mark, and the boyfriend is not good. He's a jerk, and he is mean, and just always on his phone. He doesn't really care about our main girl, and rolls his eyes at her, and is all antagonistic towards his cousin. Okay, they didn't know each other was each other, by the way. They were just strangers, and because of circumstances, they didn't share last names or anything. They were just having a lunch together. But her kissing him back is still cheating. Like holiday tradition, no, you're not getting it past me. First of all, mistletoe is such a dumb thing. And so now they've met. And of course, he's like, you didn't tell me you had a boyfriend. And she's like, well, you kissed me suddenly out of the blue. And we didn't talk about personal things because of you. And then he's like, yeah, but you kissed me back. And she's like, yeah, I did. Like, at least she feels a little bit guilty. But I think they're setting it up that the boyfriend is such a jerk. So people are like, oh, well, you know, they were going to break up anyway. But that's not good enough. Therefore, I hope she breaks up with the boyfriend very quickly now. Very quickly. Because there's tension there, and she needs to do it. She needs to cut it off right away. It's just a respectful thing to do. She should have already. And she shouldn't have kissed him back. Big no-no. So, is there cheating in it? Yes. You can't use the excuse of, oh well, it was pretty much over already. Until both parties are aware that they are broken up. So you might be able to tell. Not enjoying this one as much. If they're not broken up by the 50% mark, I'm gonna have to DNF it. It's not good, folks. We're DNFing at 54%. The bird agrees. Could just let him describe it. So Belle still hasn't broken up with the boyfriend, so she is now actively emotionally cheating because, well, she obviously likes Holden, and she's still with the other guy. And yes, has the other guy left, you know, to go abandon her for work? Yes. But she should have broken it off, made a clean break of it the moment she started having feelings for Holden. And she didn't. So that's cheating. Obviously, I don't want to read about cheating. So that's an absolute DNF, and I will not be recommending that one. That means we can start another book for the day. And it is Fumble All The Way. And it is by Deb Goodman. Okay, we have somebody. It doesn't say her name. I don't know, but she's a dancer. Who is she? Who are you? Kaiser, alright. We have Kaiser, who is a dancer. And then we have Ledger, who is an NHL. Oh, sorry. An NFL. An NFL player. It appears that our dancer girl is teaching the athlete how to dance. I don't know whether it's for some sort of dance competition at the ball thing that they have at the ski resort. It looks like it's an enemies to lovers. Not my favourite. But you know, it's better than cheating. So we have hope. It's better than cheating. Yay. So let's dive into the Kaiser and Ledger tale for our 4th book of the series. So we'll see. 3 down, 3 to go. Alright, I'm about to retire for the evening indoors. But before we do, and before I go out of the light and see you in the morning, look, things aren't going great between our couple. They're both coming in with prejudices and alternate focus. So they're coming together to do this dance because she's running in this competition. I don't think it's really a competition, but they're going to be doing this dance for the charity ball. And so she's been assigned to the male lead. And they're meant to dance a rumba, I think. However, she wants to do good. She wasn't meant to be his partner, but then somebody sprained an ankle, and you know how that goes in the dancing world. So she took over, but she hasn't been doing great on the show she is part of, and she's fearful that if she doesn't do well, she'll be overlooked and set aside. And then the bloke, he doesn't do dancing, and he kind of fumbled his own job in the football, whatever. And he may have said a comment that angered or upset quite a few people, including children. So now he has to do the dance in order to win over support and appreciation again, because his character is in question. And fair enough, because he's a bit selfish and he's a bit grumpy. So at the moment they're both being a bit selfish in what their own motivators are, and they're kind of nipping at each other. They're both attracted, but they're both yappy. Exactly, yappy. I will head inside and continue reading and have some dinner, and I'll probably check in the morning, unless I have huge updates, in which case you'll probably just get low light updates. The chicken's like, the sun's setting, the sun's setting, instead of the sun rising, sun setting. Hello and welcome to this episode of And I Finished a Book Overnight. Okay, we finished Fumble All The Way by Deb Goodman. What did we think? Kaiser and Ledger. What do I have to say about them? Well, okay, so Ledger puts his foot in it a lot. Let me just say that. As I was saying, they have this back and forth, but it got a little annoying in the end, this story, because these two, right? They're dancing, they have chemistry, they're both fawning over each other. But then one's ready to confess to the other, but this one becomes closed off. Okay? And so they're like, do, and this one's just like, no, not having it. Anyway, so this one withdraws. And this one's like, oh, okay, let me just respond. And then this one's become a rock and doesn't want to listen. And so they withdraw. And then and it just was that back and forth. And I'm just, you both want the same thing. I didn't mind Kaiser because she was she was back and forth. She had a reasonable excuse for sort of pulling back in the relationship. Whereas our male lead was supposedly all in for this girl, but he kept saying such mean comments. And when he withdrew, he was mean about it. And to other people, he denied his feelings every time in this book. Every time somebody asked him about it, he'd be like, nah, we're just dance partners, nothing more. Like, I am just doing this because it's part of my punishment for saying some stuff. And I'm like, he never apologizes for it. And then he wonders why our main girl closes off. At least when she closes off, she's not mean about it. But when she does, he gets all snooty booty about it. This conflict in this did make me dislike the characters. This one, I just didn't understand it at all. So when you were with Kaiser, Ledger was so mean. And then you get to Ledger's point of view, and so you're thinking, okay, what's going on? Because he's clearly sending mixed signals. And then you get his point of view, and all he's thinking is, oh, I just love this girl. And then he has his football mind, which I know you can be focused on a task and want to focus on that thing. But at the same time, he's mean about it. He grumps and he snoops and makes it almost like it's Kaiser's fault. Anyway, so safe to say I didn't like this one. And so yeah, they just one cup up until the very end. So I just didn't get the chemistry when this bloke has shut her down multiple times, but the moment she's just like, can we just focus? You're giving me mixed signals. Can you just focus on the dance for a moment? And he goes all withdrawn. And I'm like, what is your issue, man? You pretty much said football, like, this is my football at the moment. You just gotta understand that. And the moment she's like, listen, we're right, like, I'm super duper busy. I just can't do this right now. He's sort of like, well, she obviously doesn't like me. Anyway, calming down. So I don't know what to rate that one because I didn't really enjoy myself. Obviously, I got the way through it because I kept hoping that it would just get better. But it didn't. The more I think about it, the less I like about it. So maybe I should just stop talking about it and give it a 3 and we can move on from that. That means today we are up to the holiday assist. And in this one we are following a women's soccer player or football, whatever country you're in. See, in Australia, football is the AFL, so Australian rules football, which is completely different from American football. And so soccer just makes sense to say it's soccer because we already have football. Not everything can be called football, okay? So she is a soccer player, but she recently had an injury, and she's coming to do the charity do. However, she also might have feelings for her best friend's brother. Again, these best friend brothers, they're getting the girls this time around. However, she has an ex that follows her to the charity event or something, and so she decides she will fake date the best friend's brother. And so they have to spend some quality Christmassy time together in order to deter the ex. And that's all we know so far. And this novella has 126 pages altogether. So we have Juliet is the female lead, and Parker is the male lead. So I guess we'll see how we feel about the Christmassy vibes. My mother didn't get jelly crystals, so I can't make my grape thing that I was going to do. But she did grab candy canes. And I was sort of craving a milkshake. But again, I just took iron supplements, so I have to wait a while until I have anything dairy. So I'm going to sit here for a little bit. I might go to my usual haunt on the veranda a little later. But for now, I'm just going to relax here in this little chair. Have a little ready read. I also want to do a righty write. I do. I'm that tempting. It's tempting. I also want to finish these 2 last books in this series. I must say, because of these novellas, it looks like I'm flying towards my goal. I might even be past my goal. The resort in Winterbrook is just as Christmassy and holiday themed as the brochure promised it would be. Also, there seems to be a lot of fathers walking out on their wives in this series. That's not so great, is it though? Men, do better. The brother is younger. Is he? Is he younger? It is the younger brother. Interesting. She's gonna go for a younger man by the sounds of it. Pick up the children. The best friends, though, have been great. The best friends in the series have been pretty good, except for the last 2 books. They didn't have a bestie, and I really feel like that was the issue with these last 2 books, is they didn't have a bestie to keep them. 1, set them up, and 2, keep them in line. Because the 3rd book, she had her best friends were her siblings, and the siblings were not helpful. Let me tell you that. If she had listened to them and broken up with the bloke before she did all this other stuff, but she was still with the other bloke and they were encouraging her to pursue this other man. Terrible sibling advice right there. And then the 4th book, she didn't have a bestie. In fact, she didn't seem to really have anyone. And that may have been her issue there as well. So get yourself a bestie. That's the main message of this series, I feel, is get yourself a bestie. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming to this TED Talk. Okay. Glad you caught that. So, I don't know why authors feel there needs to be a reason why people are more reserved, like more introverted. You can't just be introverted. You don't need some reason like, I just don't trust people anymore in order to be less chatty and introverted. So just now we found out that she doesn't love chatting with strangers, but when she's with her people, so chatty. Same. What's the line? It's easier that way. Which obviously indicates that she thinks that connecting to strangers and trusting strangers is just... Writers, you can just make them introverted. It's fine. We're not some burdened creatures, okay? We just bubble up around our friends and are more reserved around others. And it's not because we don't trust other people, it's just because we don't want to be blabbing about our life to just anybody. Not everybody cares, but around friends, they care about us, and therefore they get all the randomness. All of it. Strangers, they just get the more, well, not respectful, but you know, we respect that they probably aren't interested in us at that point in time, so we just don't share anything. And I know people say, yeah, but how are they going to get to know you if you're never like that? They just need to spend time, quality time, and we'll open up. But you just don't just open up and bloom just because a streak of sunlight hits you, because that sunlight goes away behind a cloud, and you're all like, oh. Well, that didn't last long. That was a weird metaphor That's just my little rant right now. We are 8 pages into this and I've already had several discussions. So I'll shut up now and just read my book. I'll check in at the 25% mark. I feel there's a mistake in this book. They've got a cabin, right? The 3 of them, to share. And so they say there's a twin and then there's a queen. And so the sister says, oh, Parker, you can take the twin. And he's like, I'm a big guy. Anyway, but then our main girl, Jules, or Juliet, she decides, no, I'll take the twin. And so the best friend says, oh, I'm not sharing with my brother. So I'm like, well, the girls can share the twin and he can go the queen, whatever. But then it's revealed there's a single bedroom that completely obliterates the entire conversation. There are 2 rooms, one with a twin and one with a queen. And then all of a sudden he's talking about a room with a single. Like, what? Anyway, so just a little mistake there. Also, may as well update you now. I was going to update you at 25%, but we're only 10% in. I don't know how much younger he is. He was 18 6 years ago, and that was the last time they saw each other. Our girl Juliet did not have a crush on him back then, but he's become fine. We get his point of view, and he had a crush on her way back when. Except that now he's lusting after her. Think about his hands on her hips and all that, and I'm just like, dude. Anyway, so it's very physical attraction based at the moment, because she didn't have much interest in him at all. And then she's like, oh, he fine, he attractive. And meanwhile, he's like, I have had a crush on her, and just thinks all the physical, And then downtrods himself, because he's the nerd, and she's the cool athlete. I'll update you in another 15%, okay? This time, it's real. Okay, I just had to point out that mistake, because it was a big mistake. It was a big one. So I think it was just a manuscript mistake. There is 1 room with a twin room and a 2nd room with a queen bed. Just so you know, we are 25% in exactly. And yeah, they're just crushing on each other currently, but the sister/best friend, she is unfortunately ill, and I don't know. Otherwise, they're pretty much just crushing on each other. As of yet, there has been no mention as to why she's here and not with her team. There's no mention of an ex being here, and there has been a mention of an ex, but not of him being at the resort. And they're both like, well, we can't have our crushes or find each other attractive, so we need to stop that. And that's it. I might just read 1 book today. I might finish off this book. We'll see. I'll get them both done today. I'm feeling a bit tired, so I might be napping today. I've had quite a few days of reading in a row, and it tires me out. Reading is exhausting. Plus, I probably have to cement myself in the real world a little bit. The longer you're in a fictional world, the less real life feels real, and so you have to cement yourself. Come back to Earth. Almost 11 on the hickory-dickory clock. Hickory-dickory-dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1 and down he came. Hickory-dickory-dock. Can't really remember the lyrics of that, to be honest. I hope you're happy with this angle. I hope you're happy with seeing my face again. We had 55%, well, 56, whatever. And there are definitely a few mistakes in the manuscript. Like, things that just don't add up with each other. Otherwise, the ex has appeared. And we also got that little bit of backstory. And we've had bonding moments with Parker and Juliet. And their little time together, because the sister's sick, the ex is around. They're like, let's pretend to be dating. Which no doubt nothing will go wrong. Because he's like, there's no possibility I could ever be with her. And she's like, he's cute. But also, he wouldn't be interested in me because I am his sister's best friend. Anyway, so they still think each other's cute. That's it. I might get you to join me for lunch. I might make something really wacky and weird for lunch. And we can do that as a distraction from the book. Because I've just been binging the books and haven't been doing anything else. Merry Christmas. Let's go. Welcome to the bizarre kitchen adventures of Hannah. In today's episode, we are making use of leftovers because leftovers need to be eaten, but I don't want to just eat the leftovers. I want to make something out of it, like a wrap. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Will it taste good? I don't know. Guess we'll both find out together, except I'll be the only one eating it. So even if it's bad, you don't get the experience. So for beginning, we have some leftover chicken stir fry. We have wraps. I'm planning to toast my wrap, just because I feel like that will add a crispy element. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to use half of it. So what we do first is we scoop this chicken, carrot, water chestnut, capsicum, what's the tree? Broccoli. Broccoli in a microwavable bowl. Since we are trying not to coat our microwave with stir fry, we cover it before heating. Once you have heated your stir fry and your wrap, you take the stir fry and you put it in the wrap as elegantly as you can. You do not want to see it right now. It is not elegant. Now I have no clue if these two things will go together. But then you take some sour cream. You mix it up a bit. It doesn't look the most appetizing when you first mix it up. But believe me, it looks better after a moment. Sour cream. And you add it onto your wrap. I like a good amount of sour cream in my things. I'm sure you could add like some sweet chili sauce or something if your stir fry isn't very flavorful. I would usually add some onion, but to be honest, I don't really feel like it. I feel like just eating, to be honest. So instead we are going to gather the wrap, which you can't see, you just get to see my face focusing on it. And you just fold it elegantly over itself. It's very elegant. There we go. The most elegant wrap you've ever seen, I bet. And so then you grab this and you take it over to your sandwich press and you toast it a little, just a little, because you don't have anything in the end. You just have stir fry and sour cream, so it doesn't need to be baked that long. Now you leave it to toast. And you put away all your stuff that you got out for it. What's the saying? Clean as you go? That's exactly what we're doing. I also have some carrots and some French onion dip. That if I'm still hungry after my wrap, I will have that. Meanwhile, we are 75% into the book. To be honest, they just both need to accept their feelings for each other. But I get that they're from different sides of the country, so, you know, it's a bit difficult. Also, the age gap is 4 years. And then at one point, so he keeps saying he's 24, but then on one point in the book, he says he's 25, which is incorrect. That's the only time he is 25. The rest of the time, he's 24. So clearly, he didn't have a birthday in that one day. So clearly, it was a lie that he was 25. He's just trying to make himself a little bit older, so she's not like, well, we have a 4-year difference. Not that 4 years is that much when you're just... A toasted wrap. Doesn't look too intriguing, but hopefully it tastes okay. I kind of ruined it that badly. Would you believe it just tastes like a wrap with sour cream and stir fry in it? All of those things taste great, so together, still taste great. Thank you for watching this episode of Hannah's bizarre eating habits, and now we can go back to your regular program. Alright, we have completed the holiday assist. There were definitely some mistakes, definitely a few moments which didn't really make sense to me. It was cute and it was sweet. But yeah, there was just a few things that didn't quite hit. Especially the X situation at the end. Just didn't, what the heck happened there? And nothing came of it. Unfortunately, this author also did a lot of name dropping for an upcoming series, so this was sort of like teasing this other series that she's going to be writing, and I just felt it was a little out of place. It was just a little too much like I'm advertising this new book when I was trying to enjoy this couple's story. It was cute, but yeah, it wasn't my favourite, and which leads us into our finale, which is Deck the Hills. Deck the Hills is by Michelle Angus. And in this one, we are following a snowballer. And in this one, we are following a snowballer. In this one, we are following a snowboarder, Aspen. She's torn her ACL, just healed from it, I suppose, or something. Anyways, she's summoned to the resort for this mint spectacular, or whatever it's called. And she meets the mountain man who loves Christmas. So she's the grump and he's the sunshine. So I assume it's him converting her back over to the meaning of Christmas. So hopefully it's a good finale. It's got no ratings. Poor thing. So I guess I'll be one of the first to rate it. I'm sure there's some Goodreads reviews somewhere. But yes, Michelle Angus, Deck the Hills. The final book in the Peppermint Playbook series. I feel it's only fair that we make a little cold, icy cold, chalky milkshake scenario. I think it's only fair. This is the longest book of the series too. We end up in a long one. I shall check in again at the 25% mark and let you know what I'm thinking of this snowboarder and her mountain man. I must say, I do like flannel. So, man in flannel. Maybe this will be my favourite. Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to give it a chance. Alright, creatures. I'm just here snacking on my carrot sticks in my Peter Rabbit bowl with some French onion dip. And we have reached the 26% mark. And we're working through some sadness, some grief. We're working through some grief. Cole is stumbling over himself like a complete sweetheart. And so this time, our main girl has a present father. Sometimes a little overwhelming for her, but still present. But unfortunately, her mother is no longer around. As in, the passed away. Not, she didn't run away from them. But yeah, it's pretty cute. It's very emotional so far. I haven't cried or anything, but very emotional for the characters. And it sounds like she had a jerk of a boyfriend. Thankfully, now an ex. But these exes, they always seem to ruin things. I tell you what, don't know why there's people out there in relationships bringing their other person down over nonsensical things. Anyway, so I'm going to continue snacking like a little rabbit, and I'll continue reading. We're up to chapter 10, and we're up to Cole's point of view. Also, I think all the rest have been in first person, but this one's in third person. And I don't mind third person. We are 53% into Deck the Hills. So currently we have our male lead. He is just being a nice guy and helping Aspen talk through her grief. However, unfortunately an ex, a toxic, emotionally abusive, manipulative ex, has appeared on the scene, and he is a slime bucket, one of those men you do not want to be near. And so what I've learnt from this series is don't have exes. Cole is a sweetheart. He keeps thinking, oh, I'm so awkward. Or he's stumbling over his words and sentences, and he's like, oh, I'm not trying to. And unfortunately, Aspen finds that kind of cute. And it is. He also makes his own snacks. Find you a man that feeds you snacks and is just generally morally correct, you know. Adds another upside. And just kind, and shows that in all his actions, not only to you, but others as well. There we go. Another positive takeaway. We have 112 pages to go, and I'm hoping the X doesn't interfere too much, because I'm ready to slap the guy, but he'd probably sue me, so maybe trap him in an avalanche. Nobody gotta know. So I'll probably read the rest tonight, and check in the morning. Again. I wrote a bit, and then I'd read a chapter, and then I wrote a bit and read a chapter, so that was excellent, and that was an excellent idea, except that I was kind of just writing more than reading. It's been a busy day. I went out and picked up some books, which I guess I could show you, but I was gonna do like a wrap up. What happened at Christmas with me. What happened at Christmas? Because I realize not all of my videos have to be an hour long. They end up an hour long, but they don't need to be. In fact, a lot of people have been releasing like 7-minute videos or shorter ones. I'm just a longer content person, clearly. But alas, I will sit down and read the rest of this book tonight while watching the cricket, the Women's Big Bash League. I usually judge off colours, and today it's the bright hot pink and then the bright orange. And honestly, I don't really mind who wins. I'm just happy whoever wins and whoever makes it a fun game.
We've been loving the dancing and the carry on here throughout the WBBL. They've done a mighty job there.
Good morning. We have finished Deck the Hills by Michelle Angus. I think Cole was such a sweetheart of a male character, and Aspen, you sort of grow with her from her memories and her grief into a more accepting, healed version of herself, and it isn't really quick or like at a snap. I feel like the epilogue sort of ending was a little bit not to my personal taste, which is the way with some epilogues. Some epilogues you like and others are just like, I will have to put one thing in here though, which really did affect my own enjoyment or rating of this book. First of all, there were a few manuscript mistakes or just things that should have been picked up in editing, and they were quite obvious repetitive mistakes, so they clearly just haven't picked it up in the multiple edits or whatever. It makes me disappointed for the author because I know they probably wanted the perfect manuscript and it isn't. It's got some major mistakes. Otherwise, I will put a trigger warning / skip part here because it is spoilers, but it also covers some subjects that some might find triggering. I'll leave a skip point or how many seconds you need to fast forward down below, and it will disappear when I've finished talking about it. Aspen has an ex whose name is, I don't know, Chase. And let me just say, this bloke should be chased by the police. So she has this ex who is a manipulator. He emotionally abused her in the past and manipulates her and threatens her and all that sort of thing. My other point is, at the resort, he appears on scene and immediately he acts as though they are together. So he says, no, we're together. He even rings up her dad and says, hey, me and Aspen, we're back together. The dad kind of believes him, and I'm like, you know this man is a liar and manipulator. Why would you believe this trash man? But he acts out his attachment on her forcibly. So he holds her and kisses her forehead and cheek and acts very much like a boyfriend when she doesn't consent to any of this. And because she's in freeze mode, she can't get out of it. So he continues this emotional and sexual abuse on her in public. Our main lead, Cole, goes to the organizer, Big Head, Mr. Mint, and he brings up that he's following her around and acting without her consent, i.e. abusing her. And all that Mr. Mint says is, oh, well, we can't really do much because if we kick him out, we'll have a lot of publicity stuff that we have to deal with. Which is unfortunate to real life. That victims, everything just gets, you can deal it. He's not doing anything too bad at the moment. Anything without her consent that makes her react that way is abuse. And then when we have his comeuppance, the main guy punches him once, and then he falls down, and the bad guy sobs and cries. Now, my issue with this is that earlier in the book, it is told to us that Chase to Aspen was like, oh, you really shouldn't cry. Like, you are so ugly when you cry. Like, why do you cry? I've told you. Like, we don't need that. Which is obviously wrong. But then his comeuppance, they're like, oh my goodness, a man crying? How disgusting. Ew. It is different because he got one punch and suddenly he's a coward. Fair enough, call him a coward. But to poke at the crying thing as if he's unmanly and disgusting because he's a man crying, I feel misses the point. You can't have emotionally intelligent and expressive men and also be like, ew, a man crying is gross. So clearly I didn't like the way they handled the clear sexual abuse. And then everything else was cute, and the healing process and the Christmassy vibes was adorable. But that was a clear mishandling of what was happening there. Maybe accurate to life where nobody says anything or thinks, oh, but he's not doing anything too bad. She said no and clearly said, I'm not with you, we are not a thing, please leave me alone. And he continues to crowd her space, touch her. So because of that, I feel like I can only give it a 3 stars. I liked the characters, those two. I like their relationship, and I liked the Christmas vibes and the father and all that. But those are some rather big points that just, it was a no for me. So let's go through our list for this video. We had Jingle Blades, which was a 5-star for me. It was cute, it was adorable, and exactly what you want out of a Christmas novella. Then we have Serving Scrooge, which wasn't quite as good, I don't think, but it was still cozy Christmas vibes, and nothing majorly made me hate the characters at all. So it was also a 5 stars. Then we got to Checking You Twice, which was a DNF because she's cheating. Then we have Fumble All The Way, which I think I'm settling on a 2.5. I liked some aspects, but there were some clear, just annoying aspects and less enjoyable. Christmas vibes, there wasn't as many of in this book. 2.5, it was a book, but it wasn't anything amazing, and I got super annoyed with both our characters. The Holiday Assist had multiple manuscript errors, and she teased another series through it, which kind of detracted from this story. Even though it was like a nod, it felt like it was just like, here, read my other book. But again, in this one, she had a bestie. So in Jingle Blades, Serving Scrooge, and The Holiday Assist, they each had besties. And the besties came through. 2 of those times, it was the guy's sister. They're really helping their brothers win over their ladies, i.e. their besties. Nod to the besties. It wasn't as excellent writing, so I can't remember what I gave it in the end. Honestly, I've forgotten most of it. And then for Deck the Hills, I'm giving it a 3. There were just those major issues that I couldn't look past, even though the Christmas and the journey and the main characters were quite good. So all in all, very early ones, good, worth a read. Later ones, not so much. But read what you want to read. They are rather quick because they are novellas. So if you just want to sit down and binge read a couple of hours of Christmas novella, then I suggest Jingle Blades or Serving Scrooge. So that brings us to the end of our Reading Christmas Novellas vlog. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any fun Christmas books or novellas that you've read this season, let me know. And I wish you all the merriest of Christmas or the happiest of holidays. And I shall see you all in the next video. Until then, peace.
126